We'll make ourselves bigger. See, it started bad already, Simon. This is a View from the Bridge official podcast of the Belfast Giants for kingdomofthegiants.com. Today is Tuesday, the 9th of December, 2025. My name is David McGimsey. I'm joined by my very good friend. I was just thinking about it there earlier, Simon. 40 years, more or less. Hard to believe that we've been friends. But, you know, my very good friend, Simon Ketchen, over here. He's frozen. This has started so well. Listen, I'll apologise up front while Simon unfreezes that Paddy isn't here tonight. As he spoke of last week, it's the funeral of his father-in-law this week, so he's asked us to try and somehow step in. Simon, you're still frozen, or are you just winding me up? This could be a long night, so it could. Anyway, listen, we're gonna crack on while Simon unfreezes, hopefully. No. Let's see if anybody's joined us in the comment section. Is it just me frozen? Or is it Simon? Anyway, it says, sort yourself out. I'm going to drop you out and I'll do like some sort of Neil Coach Russell monologue. The last few days for the Belfast Giants, so a bit of a trying weekend with the weather. Obviously delayed really badly, cancelled on Friday. So we couldn't take part in the Manchester game. Got a very late flight into Bristol. And it's probably around 2 a.m. before the boys are finally arrive in Cardiff and then set themselves up for Saturday, which was a game in Cardiff. And let's hear what the coaches had to say about that.
It's a good game. Two good teams and two slightly different teams. I think, you know, when they get into the O-zone, they're good with the puck. They're strong with the puck and they make plays. But, you know, I thought we were pretty good off the rush in our regroups today. And, you know, we created some good opportunities, but it was a tight game.
In a game like that, where at the end it is so close, isn't it great to see your guys just putting body on the line, doing everything they can for the win? And that kind of, that need to win the game really shone through, I think, today.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think, you know, and that's what I expect from my group because I see it every day from them. You know, it's not something new. And you know, sometimes we fall off the cliff like last week, and we've got to get back on. And we've had a really good week of practice and a really good week of focus. And I was pleased for them today because you know it's not clean sailing when you're playing teams of Belfast's ability. It's a battle. It's tough. But I thought. Mosey was outstanding. I was playing him as a forward, then a D, because I wanted to keep the 4 blocks going. I didn't want to go down to 3, you know, after we lost Cap. And I just hope Cap's all right. He's took a nasty putt to the face and not having a lot of luck, that lad.
Yeah, I got it for the boys. I thought we did enough to try and get a point out of that one at least. I thought Cardiff's very good. They're obviously a very good hockey team. I thought our compete level there for the most part, at least the majority of the guys, it was there and we were battling. You know, maybe a turning point on that goal disallowed. Obviously like to get an opinion on that one and a second look at it. Like I said, I thought we competed hard, battled hard. I thought Cardiff did the same. Didn't think we generated enough in terms of 5-on-5 to probably force that one to be heading into overtime or to get a little more regulation for ourselves. And I think that's due to a bit of a lack of execution. You know, I thought that we were missing some passes or turning some pucks over in areas. You know, I think that's due to us, you know, squeezing the stick a little bit. But I can't take anything away from the guys. I thought Jackson was great. Gave us a chance tonight for sure. I think we missed, you know, pretty quality empty net there in with the goalie out there. So, you know, we had our opportunities to take a little more out of that game, and it didn't fall our way. So obviously we lick our wounds and we go again next weekend.
Let's see if we can add Simon back in here now. I don't know if we can. Sis.
Sorry, mate.
Mate, gotta be off. See, when you froze our man, I was under pressure for a wee minute there. But listen, you saw the chat with Kiefer and Tom. But what we're going to do, everybody, if we're just going to pause for now, we're going to bring in someone who's way too important to make weight. It's only Laura Smalls. Smallsy, obviously, we get you in all the time whenever there's like charity stuff to talk about. This weekend's no exception. So the floor is yours.
I'll be super quick. Yep. So Saturday night, Friday night, lots of things happening. Firstly, organ donation discussion day. I know we had organ donation week in September, but we have organ donation discussion day in December. And I think people are kind of like, oh, why is this still a thing? Because the laws changed and you automatically have a soft opt-in. Your family still have the final say. So tell your family your wishes. It's as simple as that. You want to save someone's life. You want to save 5 people's lives. You want to potentially save 9 people's lives. Tell your family that's what you want. And hopefully, if your family are faced with that absolutely horrendous moment in their lives, that they will know and they will be at peace with the decision that is what you wanted. So we'll be doing that on Friday night, and we'll probably have a table at the bridge again for people who maybe want to talk a bit more about the process, about signing up. Just maybe some people are just unsure of some things. They don't like the thought of it. I used to hate the thought of my eyes. It just grossed me out, which is so stupid because you're dead. And then Nicole got a cornea transplant, and without that, Nicole may not be able to see. So yeah, that made me get over that and realize that if my eyes could help someone, then of course they're going to can just take them out. So that'll be on the bridge. And then we've got the teddy toss. So I know I say this every year, but every year we still get some of the dirtiest, smelliest things you've ever seen in your puff. So please, it is not an opportunity to clear out your junk cupboard. I don't mean to sound ungrateful, but the idea is these are presents for people. And really don't give anything as a present that you wouldn't really want someone to give to you. So the first thing, in a bag, brand new with a label in a bag. Beautiful. I love that somebody's put the steps up. Thank you so much. So the reason why we ask them to be clean and we ask them to go in a bag is so then when we regift them onto the hospital, they are clean. They are sterile-ish. They have not been in the dirty ice where the boys have been depositing all sorts from their mouths and their nose and just general dirt. So the majority of teddies will go to the hospitals. Now, we try really hard now to sort of distribute them around Northern Ireland because our fans just aren't from Belfast and the greater Belfast area. So they'll go to the Ulster, they'll go to the Royal, the players will take those and visit with the children there. Then Andrew Dixon normally takes to Causeway in Coleraine. Karen Long takes to Blossom, which is the children's hospital in Craigavon. And then we also take to Newry. We aren't actually able to visit Newry purely just because of the way our schedule is this year as well. And then sometimes we're able to get them to some other hospitals. We just reach out to them and say, can you take them? Adam takes to the children's hospice. So we really try to make sure that we don't have a lot of waste, that anything that's left from the really perfect teddies, that goes to Cash for Kids. Then we get some that just aren't great, but they aren't bad. So we try to give those out to nursery groups, just at different church groups or anyone that feels that they can make use of them. And then all the ones that either got filthy because they weren't in bags or they're from 2008, it says on the paw on some of them when they're from, they go to the dog's home. So we try really hard not to make waste, but please bear in mind, new toys in a bag with a label is the best thing you can give. It doesn't have to be expensive. Just a couple of pounds, whatever you can afford. Then also on Friday night, we're collecting on behalf of our media partner, which is Cool FM, their Cash for Kids Christmas mission. We wait kind of until late in the month to find out what they're short of, because they've been collecting since probably sometime in November. But because this is our first home game, we're kind of looking to see what are you short in, what can we help fill. What are you laughing at?
I'm making an absolute mess of the stuff here. Just you carry on.
That's all right. You put me right, yes. So we try to fill up what they're short on and who they're short for. So right now they are predominantly short for girls aged 9 to 12 and 12 to 15, and then boys from 9 up until 18 years old. So the things that they are suggesting are, what are you smirking at, Simon? I can see you on your phone. Listen, Simon's had a break for me for a bit, so I have to feel like I have to extra annoy him today. So what the things that they've asked for: wireless headphones, fitness trackers, portable speakers, lava lamps, snooties, blankets. I mean, it's definitely a blanket day to day. Just wrap yourself up and get on that sofa. What else to say? Wireless headphones, lava lamps. again, this is not an exclusive list. If you've already bought something, it doesn't fit into that category, it doesn't matter. Your gift will be used and greatly appreciated. So we'll be collecting those at door one on Friday night, but we'll also probably throw up a table on Saturday, because you sometimes get people coming past and saying, oh, I didn't know, can I bring it tomorrow? And absolutely you can. And then the very last thing is we have a very limited number of the Christmas cards left. Again, they're going to charity. The money's been split between Little Heroes and the Air Ambulance, and we'll have those probably at door one as well on Friday night. I think that's everything from me.
Simon, you anything to add to that little Laura Small part on the show?
No. Again, we just reiterating what Laura said. You know, we after the games, when I'm saying we, and not just Laura and myself, there's quite a few of volunteers that stay behind, and this is after a long day of working at the games and getting prepared for the games. But we stay behind to sort out the teddies and you know, some of the products that are left behind from the fans that we have are absolutely fantastic, and you can't thank them enough. You know, we've got some really, really good people involved with the Belfast Giants from the fan base side of things, and you know, they go way and beyond every single time we try and do something like this, and that's both from a Teddy point of view and from the Cash for Kids point of view. You know, we stick them in the back of the team van or take them to wherever they need to go to. The boys go and do the hospital visits, and that's all coordinated by Laura. You know, there's an awful lot of work goes into doing what we do, and some people just don't realize how much effort and time goes into all this type of thing. And this is on top of everything else that we've got to do.
Okay,
you know,
that'll do.
so, but she just, look, I know I'm going to get a slap in the back tomorrow morning when I see her, but she puts a serious amount of effort into this. So if you can help out in any way at all, please, please, please do. Bring in Laura Friday and Saturday night.
Just one other thing. It is a bit of a sidebar. The Air Ambulance. I've seen some people asking on social media about the amount. We're working on it. We only closed the jerseys off there on the 30th, and then we're just getting our totals all together. But I do just want to say an initial thank you so much, because I've already seen the figure for the bucket collection. It's probably the biggest bucket collection that we've had. Bucket collections are a tough run, and that was definitely by a decent amount the best one we've had. So thank you so much to everybody who gave to that. Also, just who supported it on the night. It was wonderful. They were thrilled. They had the time of their lives. So thank you so much, everybody. And we will try and get a figure. I want to say maybe before Christmas, but that might be. We rely on other teams and to give us stuff internally, and it's not always just about us. And I've got to wait my turn sometimes. So thank you very much for that. And yeah, everybody supports our charity stuff in an unbelievable way. Like that stuff we got at Easter was obscenely incredible. Like the start as a pajama, and then the hospitals asked for some more stuff. We got an unreal, just insane amount of stuff. Anyway, I'm going to stop talking, let you guys get on with it. So thank you so much. It
literally fills one of the locker rooms. I mean, it genuinely fills one of the locker rooms. And it's just unbelievable. And this year, the challenge that we have this year is getting all the things in the Friday and Saturday and getting them out, getting prepared, because we're straight out of doing that into concert and river dance. So it's just, there's so much happening. You think that with the building being so big that we'll have a lot of place to store it. We really don't. We've got to get it out, in and out, and prepared and sorted ASAP to go to the hospitals. And that's within 48 hours, 72 hours of that happening on Friday and Saturday night. It will be with the hospitals.
Well, Laura, as always, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, Davey. Bye, Simon.
I look forward to seeing you at the weekend. I'll be making the trip home for the little the games that we have. So
of course you are actually. Well,
yes, obviously. Catch you up on the other side. Right. See you later, mate.
Davey, just put you into the team for staying behind on Friday to help with the teddies there. Fabulous. Good man yourself. Bye, guys.
Bye. Simon, let us try and move on here. See if I can do this. I've been working really hard on this while Paddy's been away trying to make this work. But Cardiff Devils, Belfast Giants on Saturday night. I spoke, I don't know whether you could hear it or not, Simon spoke briefly about the game being called off on Friday. Very difficult travel day for the boys. It's not just easy, just sitting around all day. And it was very, very into the wee small hours when we got into Cardiff, and then obviously trying to get yourself up for a game on Saturday, and then obviously a very difficult travel day home on Sunday as well. But it ran out 2-1 defeat to the Belfast Giants. Cardiff with goals from Gilly Ogilvie and Brett Perlini putting them 2-1 up. A power play goal from JJ Picanich, making it 2-1 towards the end of the game with still 15 minutes to go. Jackson got pulled. Jackson gave us a great chance to win the game on Saturday night, Sam. But I'll add the highlights to the stage here. I'm just going to play about the first 60 seconds and with the sound. Just let people watch a wee bit of the Garrett McFadden situation.
Someone's got to take 2 points tonight. And the puck is dropped and we are underway. Helgeson with a drive and got a piece of it there. Jackson whistled, but it was a heavy shot. And he's got another chance here. Some more traffic in the way, and this time I think it was Whistle who got a second piece of that. May have been a defenseman. Bast. No one really knew where it was. There's a fight in behind. Riley Brand has dropped the gloves. I can't quite see who the Giants player is. There's a few swings back and forth. 2 game players here.
It's Garrett McFadden who's dropped the gloves of Riley Brand.
And McFadden throwing a few rights on another one from Brand in return. And this is a great little tackle. Another from Brand. Saturday night's all right for fighting for these two.
I just feared the sound down there, Simon. Let's have a wee quick chat about Saturday night. We didn't get the result we wanted, but there was a lot to like from the game.
Yeah, I mean, you just touched on it before the show the fight video there. The Friday was a real challenge. Obviously, we got the call early morning saying that the flight was cancelled, and the weather. I mean, thank goodness nobody's flying today. The weather today has been unbelievable here, horrendous. And there's been a lot of flights that have been cancelled, a lot of flights have been redirected, and what have you. But Friday was a bit of a nightmare. They ended up flying out Friday night, as you say. Saturday, touching on, there was quite a few of the boys that really weren't feeling too good. Flu's been running right the whole way through the camp all last week, and to be very, very honest, I thought we did really, really well. You touched on Jackson. Jackson played very, very solid. He gave us a chance to win. We had chances to tie it up. We had chances. I actually think we'd probably have a chance to go ahead. And it's really disappointing when you're in games like that and you're not feeling your best, but you're still coming up with a performance to put a really good Cardiff team under pressure. And, obviously, that goal, you would have been a better shot or chance to look at that than I did, Davey. But, that being disallowed and to get the go-ahead goal in Cardiff is really important. And, that being disallowed, I thought it was... Actually, well, what's your thoughts on it? Because, again, I just can't see how that's goaltender interference. That he hasn't got the puck covered up. It should be allowed for me. So
I promised Andrea Cochran because, there's actually a very good... Andrea, was a different name now? Andrea, what's her second name now?
Andrea, what? For 10 years.
Yeah. Congratulations on your 10th anniversary, by the way. Andrea, whatever Andrea's second name is now. What's her second name now?
Owens.
Of course, Michael. Michael, of course. Yeah, congratulations. So I promised her that because she said, like, if this June, and I'll just answer this one quickly. Simon, own it.
Okay.
Change your battery in your smoke alarm. It's been going for about a month now. I don't know how you can sleep in that house. I promised Andrea I would have a wee quick look at this goal from Saturday night. My personal opinion on it is I think the refs went very, very quick on making the decision. So if I slow us down here, Mark Richardson comes in, makes a really good defensive play, jams a stick in against the post. You can see the puck there isn't under Bounty's pad. It's actually on the end of Mark Richardson's stick. If we roll on a little bit, if you can see here, and I don't know, I can't probably zoom in this, but Ben Bounds' skate is actually on top of Mark Richardson's stick. He's not on the ice, so he's not covering the puck. If you watch Nick Gay come in here in just a second with the pocket, it goes underneath Barnes'. The puck is just at the toe of Barnes' skates and Mark Richardson. Gay goes in. You can see the stick actually is under the pad because Barnes' skate is off the ice. So he goes in underneath. He actually, for me, I think he makes connection with the puck. And at this point, he's made connection with Richardson's stick, which is actually then moved Barnes'. He hasn't moved Barnes' pad. If anything, he's hit the stick and the skate at the same time. You'll see the puck bobble here now and just come across. There it goes. And it goes to the other side of the ice, slammed home. For me, Simon, good goal. But, I just, the only thing that I would say, I think the referees acted very, very quickly in making their decision. They've had one quick look at that. They've seen Barnes' pad move. They've assumed Nick Gay has poked it and they've just called it off straight away. Maybe 20 seconds, 30 seconds looking at that video. I can't expect them maybe to zoom in and break it down like that. But for me, there's a massive momentum swing in the game at that point. We go one up with, I think it was maybe 3 minutes left in the first period. I'll try and come back to the main highlights here. You can see them breaking it. This is the one angle the rest have probably looked at. And you see Nick Gay going in there. You see the pad moving. But they're just looking at that without really, for me, zooming in on it. Bit disappointed, obviously, from our angle that it's gone against us, but massive turning point in the game.
Yeah, firstly, nobody likes a tout, Davey. Secondly, I apologise to June and Kevin Madden's going to get a slap. I'm going to see him at some point. But I fully agree. Under no time did Ben Barnes have it under control and under cover, so it should have been allowed. But the bottom line is, that would have given us a really good chance, a really good start to the game. But I still think we had more opportunities to score and didn't take those opportunities. And I just think that we sort of run out of gas. And I know the boys were struggling on Saturday night after, as I say, the difficult week that they had with weather and obviously illness and stuff as well. But look, the bottom line is it was a decent performance against a really good Cardiff Devils team. Make no mistake about it. Paul Thompson's a really, really good coach. He has been for over 2 decades, and he's won titles more or less everywhere he's went. I expect him to be up there or thereabouts with the Cardiff Devils and all 3 trophies this year. Actually, not necessarily a Challenge Cup anymore, correct? But the other 2 trophies available for him. But disappointing not to come away with anything at all.
I think this would probably be a good time to go over to our first guest of the evening. Someone that played in the game, someone had a much better angle on it than either of us, mate. Welcome along, Reid Irwin. Reid, can you I'll do what Paddy does. Can you just turn your phone 90 degrees?
Yeah, right there.
There we go. We've got you full screen now, my friend. Just your own thoughts of what we were saying there, Reid. It was a pretty difficult weekend. Home and away, trying to get there and then trying to get back. It was a pretty long one.
Yeah, it's definitely nothing too new for hockey players that have played as long as we have, travel issues and things like that. So disappointing to not get on the road and play in Manchester. I've heard so many good things about that arena, and I wanted to experience it. So unfortunately missed out on that, but then your direction turns to Cardiff, and we got there fine. And I think for the game, maybe we took a couple penalties at the start that, don't let us get into 5-on-5 too much. But our best penalty killer was Wiss, and probably our best player all night too was Wiss, and he kept us in it. And a power play goal at the end there gets us, right there. We still have 15 minutes to tie it up, and unfortunately we didn't get that next one. But I think specifically with Wiss, when we're a little short staffed and a guy goes down in warm-ups, and there seems to be a lot of external things going on, just like sickness, like you guys mentioned, and travel issues. But it's our job to show up and play hard and try to get a result. And unfortunately we didn't, but I think the bright spot there was Wiss, and we battled through the whole game. It wasn't perfect, but no one quit out there, and we knew there were points to grab, and you just couldn't grab them.
And any sort of thoughts, your own thoughts on that that momentum swing of the goal being disallowed just a couple of minutes to go in the first period?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't looked. I was looking at or listening to you guys dissect it. From my angle from the bench, it felt like the puck was never really covered. Again, it's not the first time a call like that hasn't gone your way, and it can go either way, right? Like if you're on the opposing team and you think the puck's covered, but or it is covered, and then they poke it in and they give it a goal, it kind of, the volatility in decision making is nothing new in the sport of ice hockey. So after that, you just you got to keep moving on. I think it was 0-0 at that time. So, no blood, and we kind of got outplayed at the start of that game. And then we were kind of finding our momentum towards the end of the first and into the second. And, it obviously getting the first goal would have been great, but we were still in a decent spot. So, no one was hanging their head about it.
Raider, the season, as I say, you started off with an injury. You come back into the lineup mid-September, and you really, really had, in my opinion, anyway, I don't know how Davy's thoughts are. I think you've excelled. You're probably playing more ice time than you maybe thought you would get at this stage, with all so many injuries and stuff. There's some nights where you're over 20 minutes, and but how do you think your game's going while you've been at Belfast so far?
Yeah, it's thanks for those kind words first. And you come in as a rookie. It was my first full season pro, and I know my ability, but I have to prove that to the coaches, to my peers, teammates. And that was kind of my goal right away, was to show what I can do and that I can skate at this level, compete, I'm strong enough. And you never want injuries to happen. That sucks, especially Rochi. He's such a good dude, and looking forward to having him back, because we miss him. He's a great player, but that opens up for an opportunity for me to go in there, and I started on the third pairing and kind of just tried to play well defensively, play a two-way game, kind of play my game, and I'm happy about how it's gone. I'm always pushing for more. I want to keep playing more. That's kind of how you're wired as a competitive athlete. You're never satisfied with what you have. But at the end of the day, I want to help the team win. And we're looking for more wins than maybe the season started. And I'm just looking to do whatever I can to make that happen.
You had your family in a couple of weeks ago. Did they enjoy Belfast? What did you get up to when they were here?
Yeah, they really liked it. They'd been to Ireland before, albeit they stayed in Dublin. They'd never been up to Belfast, for an extended period of time. So they had a nice Airbnb downtown, couple nice dinners on them, which was always nice for my bank accounts. Checked out the city, showed them kind of where I was living, and the games were also great. I got them up, and I actually made the mistake of initially putting them in the just the normal seating, and then I ran by Bo and mentioned that, and he was like, no, you got to change that now. So luckily they got put up in the box where the rest of the family were, and I'm happy I got that changed. So they had a great experience. We're all lucky, but I'm lucky to be able to say come over and see what my life is like over here, and they're in a position where they can travel and take advantage of these opportunities. So it's pretty awesome to have them here. They checked out where my brother was at before in Germany, and then afterwards they went to Malta, because they said, if we're coming to Europe right now, we got to find some sun, at least get some vitamin D in at the end. So they had a good trip.
You've got Guildford up this weekend, and then Dundee. 3 games in 3 days. But first up is Guildford. You've already played them this year in Guildford itself. What's your thoughts on the Flames? And you must be looking forward to getting 3 big loads of ice time this weekend.
Yeah, no, it's exciting. Especially being back at home. These first 2 games against Guildford. Guildford's a good team. They're fast. They're talented. I think we're at our best against them, at least in the 2 games we played, when we can play that, possession in the ozone hockey and kind of hem them in for shifts at a time. And that's been, consistent throughout the year. When we play well, that's what we do. But we got to watch for their counterattacks. They're quick. They have a talented team, but should be great games. We don't really want to get into a track meet with a team like that, or any team. That's not how we want to play. We want to have the puck and control possession, controlled in the ozone. But excited for those two, and then Dundee at the end too. We still owe them. We have a losing record against them, so we gotta keep that momentum against that team, and looking for 3 wins before a little break.
Reid, you've mentioned already, home for now is Northern Ireland, and how's it been so far? I know we've had a couple of really beautiful road trips to Switzerland and the CHL, but how's the experience as a Giant been for yourself?
Yeah, it's been awesome. I think primarily and most importantly, we get treated so well by the team, by people like Kitschy, like Laura, like Michael. I've enjoyed, all my new teammates. All the veterans are great. I think I mentioned that before. The Ben Lakes, the Kieran Longs, the Goodwins, the Dickos of the team, and they create a good environment, a fun environment to be around at the rink. And outside the rink, it's like I think I've said, our situation where we're set up and our proximity to town and what's around town, and we can walk there and walk back, and the amount of outdoor activities you can do, the golfing, albeit less now, but I'm not afraid of rain, so I go into town, grab a coffee, kind of do some shopping. But it's nice to be in such a lively area all the time as a younger person too. So long story short, it's been awesome. I'm really, really happy I decided to come here.
And just one final one this Saturday night. You've seen the press release this week, probably, that this Saturday night we're inducting 4 more guys into the Belfast Giants Hall of Fame. 2 of them that you've worked with. 2 of them you'll probably not even know. Jason Ruff, Simon O'Neill tell you, one of the greatest guys to ever put on the jersey for this club, and Stephen Murphy right up there in the conversation as one of the best goaltenders ever played in this league. But you've got a little bit of experience now with your former with your current coach, former player George Wada, and of course Jason Toff-Ellery, who keeps the skates sharp.
Yeah, no, incredible honor for those 2. I was joking with George this morning about it, and needless to say, he's put in the time and into the blood, sweat, and tears into the Belfast Giants, and he's a great dude. He was the first guy I met when I got into Northern Ireland. Really welcoming, really energetic, and a guy you want to be around. And then Taft's great. He takes care of us as good or better than any equipment manager I've had in my hockey career. So definitely well deserved for those 2, and I'm sure that'll add some fuel to the fire for the game, and maybe George will put some money on the board, and we'll see how it goes.
Probably unlikely, but anyway, listen, Reid, thank you very much for your time tonight. Look forward to seeing you at the weekend. Get resting up, because it's going to be a long, hard weekend.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
See you later. There you go, Kitschy. So our first guest tonight, Reid Irwin, he's done really well since he's came in.
Yeah, I think the kid's great. I met his parents when they were here a few weeks ago, and he's just the nicest kid. Like, you always get there's players here a wee bit prima donna, and there's different types of players that come in and out of Belfast. There's no airs and graces about this kid. He comes in, he's just said on it there now. He wants to impress the coaches. He wants extra ice time, sort of music the coaches' ears. There's guys there who sort of feel they play better with 17, 18 minutes, and Reader just wants to play. And look, he's 26 years of age. I think he is 25, 26 years of age. When I was that age, I'd never wanted to come off the ice. Just give me 40 minutes a game if you could, and it's times it ended up with 40 minutes. I had to take a penalty to get off the bloody ice. But no, I think he's a really good player as well. He captain the Colgate, and he's a smart hockey player. Davey, you talk about hockey brains and hockey smarts, and he's got them. And it makes the game so much easier when you're passing the puck into a forward that you want to make sure that you're getting in the right spot for him. And we talked about this with Kieran Long last year, but Long would drop back to play D. And, a forward wants the puck in front of him. He doesn't want to have to look down and look behind him. But, if you're basically trying to go one way and you're sort of have to trail the puck behind you, and Reader makes the smart play, throws it in front of you. And, I really like his game. A bit like the next guy we're about to talk to as well, who did it very well for us last year.
I can only say good things about him, but as we've got a 3-3 in the first year against Guildford Flames, let's bring him on. Charlie Curry. Charlie, I'm going to do this as well. Can you turn your phone that way?
Absolutely.
You've become so much. You've become so much bigger. Look at that.
Yeah, perfect.
Charlie, it's been a while. How you keeping, my man?
I'm good. How are you guys? It's good to see your faces.
Yeah, you've had your own troubles with injury at the start of this season. You're starting to get right back into it again.
Yeah. I just missed a little bit with a little minor concussion there. So fortunately, just only took like 2 games off, and feeling good as new. I mean, now we're in December, so good as new is kind of relative, but just as the season gets to be a grind, but can't ask for better health at this point in the season.
And as someone who has played plenty of games in the SSE, the Odyssey in Belfast, you'll know what the arena's like. You must be looking forward to come for this doubleheader the weekend.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's always nice to get the doubleheader weekend, and it gives you more time to kind of say hi to everybody and refamiliarize yourself with the city, and a lot of special memories there. And so it's always fun to get boots on the ground, and whether it's walking to the rink or killing some time before the game, it's always nice to kind of get around the city that I had so much fun in.
And did you play in either of the games against us? Did you play in the first game?
Yeah, I played in the second game.
Oh, you played in the second one. It wasn't the first one you missed, but you'll know a few of the guys, and we were talking to Reid there just about, and this weekend there's a pretty special night. Saturday night we induct 4 new guys into the Belfast Giants Hall of Fame. 2 of them you'll know very well, George Awada and Jason Taft-Ellery.
Nice. That's awesome. Well deserved.
So it'll be really nice for you to be there. But what are you expecting from this weekend, from the 2 games?
2 hard-fought battles for sure. I mean, I think we're both teams that aren't thrilled with where we're at in the standings, and I think we're both teams that have a lot better to show for what our rosters have, and how our teams are run. Our teams both expect to win, and we're ready to kind of put forth the effort in 2 huge games this weekend. And for me, it's always nice to come back and kind of enter that atmosphere. Like, you miss it for sure. Like, the SSC's like nothing else, and obviously with a different colored jersey, it's a little less friendly, but I'm really excited to get after it.
How is Paul Dixon as a coach for you?
Oh, he's the best. He's just like, you play for so many different guys, and he's a guy that he's got a smile on his face every time you see him. He always makes your day better. He's always cracking a joke or giving crap to you, and so just a guy he's just really reinforcing on, he knows how to pick guys up, and very positive guy, and he's just a guy you want to go to bat for, because you don't want to see him angry, because it's just like he's such a joy to be around. So it's just he's awesome. He's a really good guy, and you can pretty much just call him a friend. He's a guy that just always picks you up.
You've obviously won your last 3 games on a when you're winning, it sort of brings out a little bit more confidence, Charlie. Friday night in Belfast, it's going to be a tough game. It's going to be a big crowd. We're pretty much sold out on Saturday. Friday night's not far behind it. I'm sure you're probably expecting a battle this weekend.
For sure. I mean, it's always nice to get that atmosphere. It gets the adrenaline going a little bit more. And so, there's probably the young guys on our team are probably gonna be looking around at the first couple of minutes. And so it's just important that us veterans kind of remind them that it's just another game, and, the same game's played on no matter what sheet you're on. So I'm sure the nerves will take a little bit to shake out, and the teams will probably feel each other out. But I expect a really good back and forth battle for 2 games.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing you and Travis. I was talking to him the other day, and I really like Travis as well. Like, 2 good guys, and they're definitely missed in Belfast for sure. Well, hopefully not that much. I'll speak to him Saturday night after the game, but don't be expecting too much of a welcome on Friday afternoon, Charlie.
Oh, for sure, for sure, for sure. We understand. That's how hockey works. You know, you just between the lines, you're sworn enemies, but after the game, it's always nice to have a handshake and maybe a pint.
Did that make the transition over to Guildford a little bit easier? Knowing, I know you knew other guys, but guys you'd actually played with in Bryony and different ones that were Belfast Giants.
Oh yeah, 100%. It always does. And like, you know, I'm 7 years into my career, professional career now, and a lot of those times I've gone in completely fresh and you instantly have 20 best friends, but it's always helpful, especially in the recruiting process, because I signed late last year because my brother got married and Brownie just kind of reached out and he's like, "What are your plans?" And I was like, "What are you thinking?" And he's like, "I think you'd like it here." And so when a guy that, you know, I did everything with him in Belfast. We were going to class together. We were doing everything you could imagine, kind of going on adventures and stuff. And so he's a guy that I trust with my life. And so it was easy to kind of follow him here. And he's like a big brother to me. So he shows me the ropes in any aspect of life.
And you talk about friends, but we always talk this time of year about family as well. Reed's just had his family into Belfast. I know other guys have, over the course of the last few months, have had people coming in and out. You got anybody yourself come over for the festive period? Charlie's disappeared. He didn't want to answer that question.
Could you just say that?
Oh, there's back.
Yeah, sorry. My brother was calling me. I'll tell him to kick rocks.
No, we're just talking. The question was, Charlie, just any family coming in over the Christmas period?
Yeah, so my mom's coming right after Christmas. She'll fly in on Boxing Day. She was actually looking at the Belfast weekend because she loves Belfast, and she wanted to try and get out and say hi to Laura, who was so nice to her when she visited when I was playing there. But yeah, she'll be back just after Christmas and help alleviate the homesickness and spoil me since you know, she always feels bad that I can't make it home. So it's always nice when she comes out and we get to spend some quality time. Just because you spend 8 months of the year away, and so it's nice to catch up and really actually spend that time with a parent. It's we're fortunate we get to do that actually.
Well, here, Charlie, we appreciate your time. As Simon says, we'll see you on Friday and Saturday. We'll probably talk to you after the game on Saturday. But listen, all the best, safe travels. We'll see you at the weekend.
Awesome, thanks guys. I appreciate you having me on, and look forward to seeing you.
All the best.
Thanks, Charlie.
Simon, we're rapidly racing through this show here, mate. 42 minutes. I am looking for a record finish here, by the way.
Go for it.
Will we do any other business now, quickly? Let's see what else I've got lined up on the other.
Can you not just get people to go and look at the websites?
Well, I tried that the other week and just went, like, if you want any information at all, maybe just look it up yourself. But we do have, obviously, we talked very briefly with Reed, a little briefly with Charlie about the Hall of Fame. Now, I was certain I had something here. See if I can do this. Not sure if I can, but let's do it. Let's see if this works. This Saturday night, the second edition of the Belfast Giants Hall of Fame inductees. Let's just read this, Simon. The Belfast Giants are proud to announce that George Wada, Stephen Murphy, Jason Ruff, and Jason Taft-Ellery will be inducted into the 2025 Belfast Giants Hall of Fame, joining an esteemed group of individuals whose influence has helped shape the club's remarkable journey over the past 25 years. The four inductees will be formally introduced before a pre-game ceremony before they take on the Guildford Flames, and that's on Saturday night. Let's just have a quick chat, Simon, about these four inductees. Let's start. That's George Wada, coach, player. We've talked about him for years as possibly, I'm going to have to put Adam Keefe up there along with him, possibly one of the best penalty killers that's ever pulled the skates on in this building.
Absolutely. You know, player, captain, coach, you know, he's basically done everything for us. You know, when you do think back to him as a player and coming in from Manchester, you know, he was just a pure, solid, absolute tank. You know, did everything to win. Good leader, lifted trophies for us. You know, he was just fantastic on the power and the penalty kill, as you say, Davey. But you know, 5-on-5 and on the power play, he was a decent player. You know, the teams were different back then, and you're probably expecting guys like George to play 26, 27 minutes every single night, which is a lot for a forward. But you know, when the teams were only three lines and you just got that much more ice time, and you know, the recognition for George this year, I think, is very, very well deserved.
You talk about 26 or 27 minutes, Simon. I wouldn't be surprised if there's days that you could maybe add 10 minutes to that, because although we at times running 3 lines. Sometimes we just that was shortened very, very quickly, just the sort of 2 forward lines. And if you're 5-on-5, they were going every 45 seconds, out for a game. So second up, the goalie, we talked about him on that starting 6 that we did. And, I talked back then, that was during COVID, that for me, Stephen Murphy at that time, for me, was the best goalie. You'll never win anything with a British netminer, etc., etc. Stephen Murphy won the lot.
Yeah, and Murph, when you think about it's actually probably 5 years ago we talked about that now. Is it 5 years for COVID? Is it 4? 2020?
2021.
2020. No, it was 2020.
2019,
yeah. So 5 years ago we talked about this, and I agree with you. At that time, he was the best goalie we'd ever had, and it's when you go out and you win everything for one club, you spend so much time in one place, and as you say, there's people said that you'll never win anything with a British goalie. We shot about it right up your Jacksy, and obviously come out and be a champion. And he certainly did it more than once. And with the amount of trophies that he has, is you probably spend a week looking at his trophy cabinet, and very, very well deserved. And again, another recognition for Murph that when we started thinking about doing this Hall of Fame idea, we obviously got it up and running last year. There's you think it's probably easy to come up with 4 names every year. It's really not. You want to recognize the people that really do deserve it. There's a lot of people who have done so many good things for this club over the 25 years, but you just want to recognize the ones, and ultimately it's going to be a lot of the players who are going to get the adulation who rightly deserved over the years. And Murph's definitely one of them for me, for sure.
Just bear with me, see if I can do this here, Simon. Where is it?
The big thing about that, Davey, is there's a lot of people who are we talk about COVID being a turning point. You think back to that Jofa helmet. That's just that's the first thing I remember about Murph. The Jofa helmet, the face cage.
Trying to get it up here on the big screen, but doesn't appear to be working. Share this tab instead. Sorry. There we go, Stephen Murphy. There's often a funny story told, Simon, and I'm not sure in the truth. We'll have to ask Stephen. I'm sure we've asked Stephen Murphy, and I'm sure we've asked Todd Kelman before. But when Killer signed him to Belfast, he says, "You signed for Belfast, but you're more of this Joffa stuff." And I believe at that stage he went away and got himself, a proper goalie helmet at that stage. But he was very famous for that. I remember watching him for Manchester with the old red one on before he came to Belfast.
Yeah, no, again, thoroughly deserved for Murphy. He's a legend, not just in Belfast, but throughout British ice hockey. Arguably the best British goaltender ever. There's a lot of competition for him. Obviously, you've got we've got Jackson, we've got Ben Bynes, and but you look at the titles that Stephen Murphy won. You then look back even further beyond that, Maury Hansen and God, what do you call him? John. My head's away with it. But there's some really brilliant goalies from back in the 90s and noughties. And I was just about to touch on before you brought up the pictures of Murph there. There's a lot of people who won't know Stephen Murphy because our fan base has really risen in the last 5-6 years, more or less since COVID. And there's a lot of people who won't really recognize and know how much of an impact he has been to Belfast. When you think back to 2009, wasn't it? We brought Murph in 2010, around that time, Davey.
Yeah.
More or less 2021, or around about that time when he retired, and definitely, as I say, right up there with regards to the best Belfast goaltender ever, and the best British goaltender ever, in my opinion.
I think Murph came the season.
John McGrone. I couldn't remember his name. Another brilliant goalie from back in the 90s I played against, and tough as nails.
Let's see. Let's move on then, Simon, to one more.
Legend.
Credit by Michael Cooper there on Getty Images. The captain back there at the start of the Elite League period. He came to us in the ISL, but then came back again. I think he went off to Germany possibly for a season or two, and then came back. But for me, we've talked about this often. Starting six, an absolute lock for your starting six.
Absolutely. Jason Ruff, I still think he's I know we only got him for, wasn't it 4 seasons, 3.5, 4 seasons, right back at the very start. Arguably the best player to play for the Belfast Giants. He had everything. He could score. He was tough. He could fight. He could set plays up. He was a great teammate. A great person as well. And you look back at the time again, 25 years ago, and bringing a player that came in, played in the NHL. You play at the highest level of a sport that you absolutely love, and ended up in Belfast, and which isn't a bad thing, by the way. But Jason Ruff was just absolutely fantastic. I never forget him with Sean Barham. It's like when he punched the head off Sean Barham of the Air Scottish Eagles. And it looked like Barham was sort of trying to lie down on the ice, and I remember dragging him back up again to punch him again. But as tough as nails. Dave, what's your memories of him?
Playing crazy golf with him at Pirates Cove, and him being like more competitive than he was on the ice. Just like you talk about Scott Conway nowadays and that will to win. Jason Ruff had that as well. Probably I can't remember who we were talking to at the weekend about it, but one disappointment possibly out of Jason Ruff's career that he just didn't play for years in the NHL. He was that good. He had a short stint. Can't remember. Did he play for the
St. Louis Blues?
St. Louis Blues. I was going to say Philly Flyers. That was Jason Bowen. But who he joins in the Hall of Fame. Jason Ruff just had a wee bit of everything, and it was in that period, especially when the ISL had collapsed, the EIHL was getting off, and he was just so good that season. He put the team, a fledgling team. Rob Stewart obviously stayed loyal to clubs, went behind the bench, brought in the likes of Gareth Martin, Mark Morrison, Graham Walton, who all became household names. What do you call a guy that came for the trial? Dermot Kelly, Brad Kenny, all these young guys that came in that necessarily wouldn't have been playing if it was still the Super League. And Jason Ruff was their captain, and he led. I think Ruff had, I want to say, the guts of 90 points or something that season. Just absolutely phenomenal. But I'm sure we'll maybe talk more about this next week when Paddy's on, because it's wrong to try and leave Paddy. Let's chat. But last, but by no means least, our very good friend, Jason Taff-Ellery, equipment manager since forever, but with the Belfast Giants over, must be 20 years now, 21 years. Started the EIHL. He came along, so that's 2004, 2003 maybe, 2003, 2004. Took over from Tom Blatchford, who recently retired himself. But go on, says, have a word on Taff.
Look, he's the best at what he does. He's been a very, very good friend of mine now for a number of years, and Taff is just, you listen to talk to any of the players, and that's how you know that how well respected he is. Both, again, you're talking not just in Belfast, but the whole way throughout the league, throughout world hockey in general. And you also look at the likes of the GB boys. I've yet to hear any of the GB boys have a bad word to say about him. He does everything for these boys, everything. He cleans their knickers, and he cleans their dries. Literally, yeah. You go into that locker room. There's only we've talked about this before, Davey, and you've probably got it now because you're a bit anal this way with regards to trying to fold towels. I have no patience for that side of things. It takes a special kind of person to make sure to be an equipment manager, because you do have to do things right. And he has this massive. I'm not having to go at him with the OCD side of things, but he has OCD to a different level. He's meticulous when it comes to folding towels and even socks. They've got to be the right level. They've got to be on both sides of the shorts. They've got to make sure they're all facing the right way. The logo's got to be out. Even in the, you could get it absolutely no problem at all, get a job in Tesco's, because the way he does the bottles in the fridge. You walk over to the bottle in the fridge, you got all the Ballygan facing the one way, you got all the Pepsi facing the one way, you got all the Heineken facing the one way. on the second game of a doubleheader, by the way. But you know, yeah, he's just fantastic at what he does. Make no mistake about it. When we talk about people who deserve to be on that wall, Taft's definitely 100% one of them.
Couldn't agree more with you. I have to pay my own tribute to him. You know, like you, good friends with him away from hockey, but he has taught me. He's allowed me to help him over the last couple of years. He's taught me so much. You talk about things like I fold my towels at home like that now, Simon.
You're a weirdo.
Here, it's to you and away from you. So if anybody folds a towel different than that, you're doing it wrong. But I guess the one that I remember the most, Simon, is it must have been. It was late. It was after midnight. You were driving me home. We were trying to help Taft get out the door here. Come on, come on, man. And there was a pile of towels. One's to go on each. It's the first night of a doubleheader. One on each stall. Socks go on top of it. We'll do that while he's doing it. And you've done 3 or 4. I've done 3 or 4. And you turn around and Taft is just like moving them quarter of an inch, half an inch.
He's a weirdo that way. I'm absolutely.
But it's not even weird. It's the perfection that this guy comes up with. He's just talking about those micro percentages that make the guys not have to worry about anything else but putting their skates on and going out and playing, because he has everything else taken care of. You do everything in the back in the office, he does everything in the locker room, and the team comes together and all those boys have to do it. Which can't say enough good things about Taft. He's been very, very good to me for a lot of years, and I'm really looking forward to being there to be sure see him getting his name rightly recognized by the club.
Yeah, you sort of look at some of the stuff that, I mean, some of the stories Taft could tell you. We're a family podcast and we're not allowed to do that. We should actually do an after hours podcast and get Taft on and get I was just going to say get Kiefer on. You can't do that at the minute. He's still a coach. But there's so many players that you could bring on for an after hours podcast. And I know there's going to be people now that will send on the comments and go, oh, yes, absolutely, we need to do this. And it would be a top seller. We could actually charge people to come in and watch it. But like again, the 4 people that are going, I mean, the 4 people the 5 people last year, and the 4 people this year are absolutely all richly deserved to have their name up on that wall and join the people that were on from last year. And we talk about, you said about Mark Morrison, and you know, you also look at the players who have already have the recognition of having their numbers retired. You know, I'm sure down the line that they'll probably be up there as well. But when you've got your number retired, it's a different type of thing. And you know, there's only so many numbers that you actually can retire, because ultimately, you know, you need to have numbers for the rest of Belfast Giants history. Yeah, another, as I say, the 4 that are going in this year, thoroughly deserved. And firstly, congratulations to every single one of them.
Yes, and you're talking about numbers. Just gives me, I'll throw a little quiz out there for what is the lowest Belfast Giants number that has never been used. So while we're doing our last little wind up there, Simon, people can in the comments can have a go, and you just can't type 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That doesn't count. They've all been used, by the way. Start at 6. Jeff Ball, 7, Paul Ferrone. But you two are trying to work that out there. Anyway, Simon, have you any other business?
Now you asked a question. Hold on. I've no other business. You carry on there. Don't lock up until.
So obviously we've also got Player of the Month. The vote is still going. I assume Paddy put the vote on Twitter. It's not our X. I haven't checked. So if he hasn't, we'll get it up tonight. It's to be presented on Friday after the game against the Guildford Flames. The nominations were Jake Cadet, unfortunately out injured from last weekend. Who else would have been? It was Nicholas Gay and it was Jordan Kawaguchi. They were the 3 nominations. We only went for 3 this month. So you still count in your head there. So right. Get on the AVFTP, vote for your Player of the Month, and we'll get that presented. The biggest prize in sport, sponsored by Funnelcab. Thank you very much.
Am I right?
Oh, have you put a note in the... You could be.
You don't even know the answer?
I do know that. Yes, you are correct.
That's all right. That's okay.
You are correct. So head on over to Twitter there. If you know the number, stick it in, and anybody that gets it right, I'll put you in a draw and I'll send you a really nice prize. Promise. So what's the lowest number in Belfast Giants history not used?
Am I in this prize, Kevin? Have I had a chance to win this prize, Kevin?
No, you're an employee of the organization, unfortunately. It's like it's in the T's and C's, mate. It's in the T's and C's. Anyway, this Friday and Saturday night, tickets still available, Simon?
Saturday is down to single seats. Friday, there's a few more extra available, but we're expecting close to sell out on Friday night as well, if not everything. Yeah.
Full bowling?
Don't think there's a full bowl in because it's going straight out of a concert into Riverdance. It's very, very busy the next few weeks.
And if you can't get down, get your tickets where, Simon?
Ticketmaster.ie/Belfast Chance.
And if you can't get there, what other way could you watch the game, Simon?
You can watch it on the webcast, Belfast Chance TV. I'll be on it on Friday night with my very good friend Gareth Martin. And the game starts at 7:00. We'll be live from about 6:50.
And we're home Friday, we're home Saturday, and then we travel to Dundee on Sunday. If you're not making the trip over the Irish Sea and up to Dundee by whatever means of you find applicable, you can get it on Dundee Stars TV. And I'm sure that this time next week we'll maybe have Mark Lefebvre on to talk about that one. But who knows, Simon? Any other business quickly?
No, mate, I don't. I'm pretty. Oh, Wee Blakey's just out of hospital.
1 hour, 1 minute.
Okay.
What's that?
Wee Blakey. He was in hospital there last week. Yeah, so hopefully he's feeling a wee bit better.
Yes, we send our love to everyone at this time of year that's not feeling the best. But we Blake, get well soon, brother. And you never know if you're out and about, we'll maybe see you at the weekend. But 1 hour, 1 minute, Simon. I'm calling the day. I don't know how to make this stop, but I'm just going to have a go. But thank you very much for joining us. Thanks to Reid Irwin. Thanks to Charlie Curry. Thanks to Simon Kitchen. Thanks to Adam Keefe, Paul Thompson for the post-game interviews, and everybody at Card Devils TV for
Laura Small
footage. Laura Small, bring a teddy bear, make it new, wrap it up. When we score the goal, throw your bear. But we'll catch you next time on A View from the Bridge.